I know that. You also have pretty hair. I slapped him right then, and he leaned in for a kiss. I felt fireworks between us, and suddenly Gavin pulled away. No, I can't do this. What do you mean? I don't want to fall for you. I'm scared of getting hurt. I don't want what happened to my parents to happen to us. Dude, we're in high school. I'm gonna run off with some other guy. Your parents' failed relationship doesn't mean you have to live in fear. But Gavin just said taking me to the concert was a mistake and started driving me home. I felt like such an idiot. He was the one who'd asked me out. I'd let him drag me hours away from home at midnight so I could give him a chance. Thankfully, Mom was in bed when I got home and I fell asleep with no trouble. Then at around 5 a.m., I felt someone's hands on my head. It was Mom. Ming, go back to sleep. At that second, I spotted a pair of scissors in her hands. What are you doing with those? And why are you holding a strand of my hair? Are you cutting my hair in my sleep? I just need a couple of strands. What? Why? Please don't ask questions. No, I will ask questions. You can't just cut my hair in my sleep without telling me why. Watch your tone, young lady. I'm not doing anything wrong here. You need to learn to respect your elders and bite your tongue. Mom stormed out of my room and slammed the door. She grounded me for a week, but I wasn't gonna let her scare me. While Mom was at work, I crept into her bedroom and searched her closet and all her drawers for evidence of something. Then finally, I lifted up a blanket from her bed and almost had a heart attack. On her bed was an open cardboard box with a pile of my hair strands. How long had she been collecting my hair? I wasn't sure what she was gonna do with it, but I knew one thing for sure. I needed to get away from her. I thought about booking a flight to China to go back and live with Dad, except what if he didn't allow me to? The next day at school, I was in the library when suddenly I saw Gavin sitting across from me reading a book. Oh darn, I'd forgotten to cancel our tutoring sessions. Ming, hey. Hi, look, I won't be needing any more tutoring sessions. I'm moving back to China. Wait, what? You're leaving? Yes, and I don't know when I'll be back. You made the right choice not to kiss me at the concert. We would have both ended up hurt. Everyone I've ever been close to in my life has done me wrong or got separated from me. You were right to protect your heart, Gavin. He stared at me with sad eyes, and I couldn't bear being around him anymore. I went back to the house so I could secretly pack my bags and leave home. But that night, Mom knocked on my door. Do you have a minute? What's going on? What's in that box? Your 18th birthday is tomorrow, so I made you a present. Oh man, my birthday. I'd completely forgotten. What's this? You asked why I was collecting strands of your hair. Well, it was to make a quilt with something called dongtai hair embroidery. It's an old Chinese practice. You sew hair strands onto a piece of white silk. My grandmother started a tradition where a mother would embroider a piece, pass it down to their daughter who would continue the work and keep working on it until it was finished. Then the next daughter in line would receive the quilt as a gift. And that's you. I was shocked. Mom hated me. There was no reason she'd want me a part of any family tradition. I don't even remember the last time you gave me any presents, let alone something like this. Well, it's your 18th birthday and it's an old family practice. My mother used to tell me, back when we were close, that she wanted me to continue it. And you are my daughter after all. Mom hugged me awkwardly and I tried to feel happy. Maybe I didn't have to run away from home after all. My mother loved me. This was proof she loved me. But I still couldn't sleep that night. I felt in my gut something was off. That Mom didn't give me that blanket for the reasons I thought she did. Suddenly, I heard voices coming from the other room that sounded like a FaceTime conversation. I can't believe you made me go through all that work to give Ming that dongtai blanket. She barely even said thank you. I shouldn't even have to ask you to pass that blanket down to your own daughter. I had to offer to take Ming for the summer so you'd agree to do it. Like I haven't already passed down enough to her. Ming is prettier than I ever was and won more pageants than I ever did. I did what you told me. I gave her the stupid quilt. What more do you want from me? Well, that all made more sense. Of course Mom hadn't changed. And of course she hadn't grown to love me. I refused to speak to both her and Dad that week. And one night, after Mom went to sleep, I threw the dongtai quilt into the fire with my strands of hair and 2 generations worth of work. At school, I still saw Gavin, but I avoided him too. After all, I told him I was leaving the country. On the last day of the semester, I was taking my finals, but I was panicking because I didn't know any of the answers. I hadn't been able to find a tutor as good as Gavin, and now I was the last one in the exam room. I tried to calm myself with deep breaths when suddenly some kids ran in screaming, pulling the examiner's arm. Miss Benson, someone broke into your car. And that's when Gavin walked in and sat next to me. We only have like 2 minutes tops. Give me your test, I'll finish it for you. No, Gavin, I can't ask you to do that. But he'd already taken my test and was filling in the answers. Why was he helping me? So obviously, you didn't move to China in the end. No, not yet, but I still might, just to get away from everything and everybody. I don't understand, Gavin. Why did you do this for me? Because I still care about you, Ming. I know I wasn't ready to kiss you that night at the concert, but part of me regrets that. Really? Yeah, I don't want my parents' divorce to scare me away from falling in love. You told me that night, nothing is worth living in fear for. Gavin pulled me close, and I felt my heart skip a beat. Maybe you're right, Gavin. Just because my mom didn't know how to love me doesn't mean there aren't other people out there who do. You mean like me? Slow down, buddy. We're not there yet. I leaned over and kissed him right then. For the first time in ages, I walked home feeling happy. But when I entered the house, I found Mom sitting in front of the fireplace, crying. I can't believe you burnt the family quilt. A 3-generation quilt. It wasn't a 3-generation quilt because you were never gonna pass it down to me. You only did it because Dad told you to. You know what? I'm done putting up with this. I'm moving out of this house. I'm not gonna live with you anymore. That summer, Dad let me stay with him in China as he promised, and Gavin and I applied to the same college and got in. Even after returning to the US, I didn't see Mom, and I also blocked her phone number. But one night at college, I was awake studying when I got a freaking message from Mom on TikTok begging me to call her. Jesus, she created a TikTok just to get a hold of me? I finally gave in, just to get her off my back. Oh, honey, I'm so glad you called. I've been wanting to talk to you and make amends for a while. It's a little too late for that, Mom. I really don't have time to talk. I have midterms tomorrow. Ming, you didn't let me finish. I've been seeing a therapist and working through my issues. I want to be better. I want a fresh start. Well, I am glad to hear you're finally getting help. I know you've been suffering for a while, but I can't just forget the way you've treated me all those years. Maybe one day I can forgive you. I just don't know when that'll be. I understand. Well, if you ever do want to start over, my home is always open to you. I love you, and I'm sorry about everything. Thanks, Mom. I've always wanted to hear those words from you.